All right, you guys, moving on to our Canadian men's national team. A lot to talk about here because they are largely unsettled across Europe as club rumors continue to fill our timelines. I feel like I wake up, check Instagram, and it's like, this guy's going here, this guy's rumored to leave. I'm over it, okay? I'm overstimulated. There's a lot happening. So
Put
obviously,
the
all the
Instagram
big
down.
sounds-
Pick up a book, Mackenzie.
Oh
No.
my God.
Her
I saw
algorithm
that
sounds
coming.
really
Okay, I saw
happening
that
right now.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay. A conversation for another time. You guys,
First
we've
thing in
heard
the morning.
rumblings. Okay. Alistair Johnston, Nico Segura, Derek Cornelius, both Davids potentially angling for new clubs. Gareth, do you even remember a time where so many of Canada's top players were sort of, didn't have solid homes?
No, never. This for a couple reasons. This is playing out. Last summer was a big one as well, by the way. Even into January, with a number of players unsettled. But I think all eyes were what the position each player could be heading into the World Cup to give them the best chance to contribute and be at their best form. This time around, well, first of all, this is happening because there's more players playing across European football who are Canadian than ever before, which is a really good thing, something to track and something to monitor. There's a combination of Canadian players, however, some requiring another move to take them a step forward in their careers. I don't think that some of these players are a must move, but certainly are being put in the mix in the window because they're achieving and they're doing well, which is a really good thing. And there's other players who might be unsettled at their club or not playing enough football or being completely shut out of their current equation. So this is unprecedented in terms of how many Canadian players could be on the move over the course of the next 2 weeks. So for all those transfer window merchants, people like you, Mackenzie, who wake up and are tracking the latest rumors that are sent out by you're in the know or maybe not so much. This is a lot of fun for you right now.
I kind of wonder, like, I think this is the case with some countries and much more than others, and maybe Canada's one of them. I think Canadian players maybe think about the national team more than players from other countries do, who perhaps prioritize their club careers a bit more than their international careers. Not saying that obviously, the club opportunities and particularly players going over from North America to Europe isn't massive for them and a huge part of their decision making, but just felt like, and it's felt like with the national team for a few years, but particularly this year, obviously, so much has revolved around like trying to put yourself in the best possible position for the World Cup. And so there was a lot of moves beforehand to try and set players up for the World Cup. And now there's a lot of fallout of players trying to figure out, what the next step is, and whether it's a move up because of a great World Cup or whether it's because they did something short term before the World Cup and now they need to figure out something that's a bit more of a longer term solution. So yeah, it feels like there could be a number of moves still to come here, even as we get pretty late in the window.
Yeah. Okay. So given that context in this situation, it only feels right to play a little game of stay or go. So I'm going to give you guys a Canadian national team player, then you tell me if they should stay or leave their current club. This is the part where Gareth starts singing.
Should I stay or should I go now?
That's the intro song to the game. Perfect. Love it. Love it. You guys, let's start off with Tajon Buchanan. Stay or go from Villarreal. Gareth.
I hope he stays. Like, I think Buchanan, what he needs more so than anything else is just consistency, bouncing around and dealing with injury. Like, his career was completely disrupted for the better part of 2 years. Didn't start on the weekend in Villarreal's first game of the new La Liga season, but I still think that it's worthwhile to give him some time. There's been some changes at the club. They haven't recruited a whole lot of new players to come in, so I still think that's a decent enough spot for Buchanan to be at, with a lot of games to come in a place where he showed some really good moments last season as well. So I think that he should stay at Villarreal, not only for the time being, but I think he's carving himself out a pretty nice niche there.
Okay, Ollie?
Easy stay for me. This is a team that finished third in La Liga last season, but behind Real Madrid and Barcelona. Like, it's a very good team. I don't think it's a cause for panic if he's not starting each and every week, as long as he's still getting a good number of minutes. He chips in with a decent goal total last season. I would be staying there as long as you can and as long as you've got a role to play, which I think he does.
How about his good friend, Canadian national team teammate, Daniel O'Shea? Ollie.
Yeah, more complicated for sure, because particularly second half of last season, he wasn't really seeing a lot of time on the pitch. It was more some of the early Champions League games and cup games that he got his opportunities. So whether Tani is going to get to the end of the window and be thinking, do I need, a loan or something to go out and get some more first team minutes here? I'm not sure. I'll say stay. I think he might give it another 6 months through to January, because he's still probably fourth in line, I think, among their strikers. And that, I think, will give him some opportunities, particularly early in the season when you're in every competition.
Yeah, I think it should be a go, but I do think that he will stay. I have a really difficult time trying to figure out what Olashay's level is, and whether this might be a step too high for him or whether he can still be productive at this level. It's not in terms of his profile. Obviously, it's very good. He's athletic. He can do a lot of things well. It's that if you're playing for a team that's going to be one of the top 4 or 5 teams in La Liga, I think you need to be a little bit more of a finisher. And then that's what's kind of been letting him down for both club and country in recent times. Just not enough goals, just not enough in terms of numbers. So for him, yes, I think staying for the next 6 months would be a good thing, just to kind of figure out or establish where that bar is a little bit more, have that situation be a little bit more clear. But inevitably, I think he'll have to go at some point just to satiate his desire for minutes and contributions and show what kind of player he can actually be. I like the player, is just the numbers just haven't been quite what you'd expect to be playing at that level week in, week out.
Yeah. Gareth, how about Derek Cornelius at Marseille? Stay or go?
I mean, he has to go. Like he had to go before, and he still needs to go now. I think it's still disappointing that he hasn't found his landing spot. There's been some rumors circulating about potential interest, and he's an interesting player, but he's in like the prime of his career, and he seems like a complete nomad at this point, which I think doesn't do him any favors. Not even from a playing perspective, but like a lifestyle perspective. I don't think that you want to go about your career changing your club as often as you change your socks. It's just not good for him. He needs a settled environment. I don't think that his reputation, the places where his agents have helped him land in recent times, have done him any favors whatsoever. I don't think that some of those moves have been the smartest for his career. So what he requires more so than anything else is stability, somewhere where he knows he's going to contribute and be able to carve out some time, not only for the next 6 months, but the next couple of years. So stability is required. He needs to go and go now.
He's a really strange one. Like I think clubs will have a tough time kind of assessing what's his level and how much can you invest in him, because he's had such a strange career. Like he's played in Greece, he's played in Sweden. He wasn't even in Sweden that long, and it went really well there, and he got the move to Marseille. Then he has one decent season at Marseille, and then last season is a complete write-off, obviously, with getting kind of pushed out at Marseille, the injury, and then coming back at Rangers and being told that there's no place for him to play at the end of the season. So I think it would just be difficult for a club that's looking at Derek Cornelius to say, like, is this a guy who can start in a top 5 league week in, week out? Is it a guy who could be very good in a secondary league? Just his career has been so kind of all over the place and quite short term at different clubs at times. It's difficult to make a judgment on him. I think we as Canadians see him in the national team and think this is a very good defender, but he's in a weird spot right now. But go.
Yeah, left-sided center back. He's a useful player, just in terms of his profile. Like it's just. Yeah, it might not be in one of those top 5 leagues. Like it just might not be, which is okay. There's a lot. I think there should be a lot of interest, but it's just what they're looking at right now. Like him and his people. Like, are they looking to capitalize and just is it about money? Is it about playing time? Is it about playing in the best league or the best club that you can? Like, where is the priority right now? It's kind of very difficult to get a read on that situation.
This is why we play the game, you guys. Ollie, promise David, stay or go from Saint Gilloise.
I'm somewhere in the middle on this. Like I wouldn't necessarily be, really disappointed if he stays in Belgium. At the same time, I think he's a player who really seems to clearly be coming into his own. We talked about this a bit last week, just how he seems to have come back from that injury better than ever. Looks like he's really ready to dominate the Belgian league and probably ready for the next step. So I'll say go, but I don't think staying would be, the end of the world for another season potentially.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
not catastrophic if he stays, but I'm with you. Promise David gots to go. The thing is, he's 25 years old. Like, he's not a young man anymore. I think that there's very limited opportunity when you're on a run of form like Promise David is. You need to capitalize. You need to strike while the iron is hot. And I think that right now is a good time. He has some really good value. He's got off to a really good start to the season. He's of a profile, a physique, just in terms of his form that a lot of clubs will be looking at as a potentially intriguing player. And I think that there is big interest right now. You have to take it. You know, football moves fast. If you succumb to another, pretty serious injury, or for whatever reason your club struggles, or you take a step back, then this opportunity might not come around again. It's been a meteoric rise, but I think that now is the time to take advantage of that, to take his next step. And the fact that Union Saint Gilloise is not playing in the Champions League, I think it opens up the door for that conversation to be had, and him to kind of move on amicably with all sides, just understanding what the situation is all about.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, this next one, Alistair Johnson. We've talked about him a few times. Last week, I think, Gareth, you made the point that you said it was probably unlikely that he'd maybe initiate some change. But at Celtic, do you think he should stay or go, Wheels?
Well, if he has Premier League opportunity, if Everton is still into him and in the market for a right back, which it looks like clearly they are, then he has to go. Much like Promise David, he has to fully take advantage of that opportunity. But he's picked up an injury which might scare off some teams just in terms of bringing in a player right now. And beyond that, what would that do for a potential transfer number, about what it would cost to bring him in? I just don't think that it would be necessarily the best spot for Celtic. So it might be a case of the injury just came at the wrong time, and there might be something that might be looked at again come January. So it's a conditional go for me. If it's like Everton or a Premier League club,
Hmm.
Fulham, whoever that's coming calling, I think that that's too good of a move to turn down. But he doesn't need to leave just for the sake of leaving, especially after picking up this recent injury.
Okay.
No, I agree with that, but at the same time, I do also think, like, coming off the World Cup, and he had a very good World Cup.
Yeah.
Like, this kind of feels like his moment to go, and you hope that the injury isn't going to derail that. And then you wonder, if it doesn't happen this window, does it kind of reduce the chances in the future? Now he's not in a bad spot by any means. They love him at Celtic. It's a massive club, so he's one who's in a strong position, I think, either way. But it did just feel like, to me, there was a bit of momentum behind it, and I don't know if that will still be there to the same extent in January or next summer.
So does that make yours also a conditional go?
That makes me a go, I think. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Gareth's playing the nuances of the game. Ollie, I'll come back to you. Nico Segura, stay at High Duke Split or go somewhere else?
Yeah, go for sure. He's just a good enough player. I think we've seen it repeatedly in a national team jersey to play in a league better than the Croatian one. With all due respect, like, again, it's a club that's got, a bit of a following, and is a decent sized club in that country. But it's just not one of the bigger leagues in Europe. And I think Seager is absolutely of the quality where he could be playing at a higher level. So you'd like to see him at some point take that jump. And I think he's kind of done his service in Croatia to be ready to make that move. So go.
Yeah, yeah. I
Cool.
mean, he's ready to go. The interesting one that came about, and I don't know if there's anything to it, but Celtic as a replacement for an outgoing Johnston's a really interesting one.
Yeah.
Bringing another Canadian player, obviously Seager has positional versatility that would help that club just in terms of what they have going forward this year. It's my only question about Nico Seager is, like, again, where is his level? What's the appropriate level for him to take on the next challenge? I think we're all interested in the player and really rate him, but, like, what's his level? Is it championship level? Like, he's been kind of rumored around some championship clubs. That might be a good test for him. A number of Canadians have thrived or made the move to play in that level. I don't think it's going to be a top 5 league at this point. So yeah, that's all they question at this point. I'm actually surprised we're sitting here 2 weeks before the window closes and he hasn't moved already. Just another player I would have liked to have seen that business be done early so he can settle and he's not, like, playing from behind or playing at a deficit for whatever club he goes to. So yeah, it's about time that he
Yeah.
goes, and I'm looking forward to seeing where.
Okay, moving on to another Canadian defender. This player made some noise during the World Cup. It is Luc de Fougerolles. Wheels stay at Fulham or go?
Well, I know that the whole notion is that he needs a loan move away, and I subscribe to that as well. But there's worse places to be. Like it's going to be really an intriguing year. I know that a lot of people have kind of soured on Fulham and their chances after losing their manager Marco Silva. Arbeloa has come in, and with his staff from Real Madrid. And if he fancies the player, if he's looking at Luc de Fougerolles as someone that can be part of the mix, I'll trust that process. I just will. Look, like with Bassi and I believe Anderson as center back, like they're pretty established in terms of their starting center back duo, but Issa Diop moved on. There might be some opportunity there. If that opportunity presents itself where he can be kind of a depth, a role player at a Premier League club, I just think that there's also some positives that come along with that. Training with some really good players week in, week out, the learning curve that you go along, maybe another different voice at the club as well. So it's not a must go. But if he can get a really good loan move to a championship club where he's going to play week in, week out, then that's once again a conditional go. A conditional go. I'll go with Luc de Fougerolles.
Conditional go. I think I'm a solid go again. I think at this stage, the championship just makes a lot of sense to me. You know, go there for a season, get a lot of games under your belt at a really good level. I understand like the environment would be really good to be with a Premier League team. I get all of that, but I just don't know that he's quite ready for that level yet in terms of actually playing minutes and needs just a bit more seasoning. Again, the championship makes a ton of sense. So I'll say go.
If he is though, we'll see how things shake out. I mean, if he's able to get minutes and shows that he belongs, that expedites, just his maturity, his growth, his stature within the national team program as well. What's crazy about this episode, we're doing stay and go. Like, I think it's almost easier and shorter at this point to discuss which players would stay at their clubs.
Right,
like we haven't
right.
addressed Eustachio, Jonathan David. Like there's so many others who could potentially be in a is Saliba in a position where he's ready to move on to that next step. It's just wild the number of Canadian players who are all in that mix back.
Okay, so before we wrap up this segment, kind of going off what you're saying, Wheels, let's do a quick over-under on how many of Canada's 26-man roster will make a move ahead of the transfer deadline. Let's set the over-under at 5.5. You just like let out a little sigh, so I'm worried. Do you want me to come to you first or second, Gareth? I don't know. What do you guys think?
Wales.
I'm gonna take the over. Based, okay. I think that we were just about 5 in our discussion. Like, look, I think that Cornelius definitely goes. I'm gonna predict that Promise David goes. Okay. I'm gonna predict that Alistair Johnston goes. Did I say Jonathan David?
Okay.
Jonathan David. I think that he goes. I think that Eustachio goes.
Okay.
So that's 5.
So that's already 5.
Right there. And all we need is Sigor will go. So that's 6 right there. I think that those 6 players are, I'm strong leans to the go. And that doesn't even include like potential loan moves for de Fougerolles or others. So, yeah.
See, my instinct was to go over and it could, easily be over. But I think the only ones that I think these are going to happen would be Cornelius, Seager, and de Fougerolles.
Those are a lock.
So I would put those close to a lock, I would think.
Yes.
So I might take the under here just to get on the other side of
it. Make things interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I could still see like Jonathan David, Eustachio. I could see them sticking it out and trying again. So I don't think those are certs to necessarily move, although that absolutely could happen, of course.
Wheels? You have a comment?
Yeah, I'm still like, I feel the sharp play is going the under. If Ollie, like people out there, like savvy bettors, they're taking the under.
I'm not.
And oftentimes getting these moves over the line are very difficult. It's just, I'm just going to go again, strength in numbers here, just based upon how many players could be looking or could require a move. Like
of those 6,
so many of them, I can't be taking the bait and trying to take the under here. I gotta go with the over. It'll be more exciting too. Over's always more fun to play with.
Which of those 6 though, Gareth, do you feel is the most on the fence and you can kind of count on the least? Who's making you nervous out of those 6?
Probably Alistair Johnston at this point.
Yeah.
just because of
Okay.
because of the injury. I think Jonathan David goes. I think that the situation is untenable. Like we've kind of dealt with that. I think that Juventus is still making moves in the market. I still think they're going to bring in an attacking player. The worst thing that could happen is you to be completely shut out. You know,
Well, that's
they're
the
not playing
question, right?
Champions League football. I mean, I think that he has to go, and I think Eustachio, based upon him was being forced to leave on loan heading into the World Cup, like what's changed? He's like 6 months older now. Like Porto is still a club that they love him there, but they're dead set on bringing through young players to give them opportunity. And I think that Eustachio is too good and too much of a competitor just to stay and be a peripheral figure. I think that he at certain clubs can be be a key cog. So I think that both those players need to move.
Yeah.
I think with
Okay.
the Stacchio, sorry, Mac, I'll let you finish just quickly here. Like every season until last one, he played 40 plus games for Porto. He's won 9 trophies there. Like I think that matters to him, right? Like he loves that club. I think he's popular with his teammates. I would think he will want to make that one work if it's at all possible. And then Jonathan Davids, you're right. It's going to take, I think, Juventus telling him like you're going to be iced out here. And if that hasn't happened yet, is it going to? I don't know. It's a tough one to tell, but those two for me, like they're big clubs that I don't think those players will want to give up on easily.
Okay, we'll circle back and see who takes the cake here. Over, under. Wheels, you have the over. Ollie's taking the under. Significant
Like
number of
Ollie's bet.
Canadians
Like Ollie's bet.
looking for new clubs, so we'll continue to follow their whereabouts on One Soccer. And I am changing my morning routine. I'm reading a chapter of a book before I check the transfer rumors.